Good afternoon, Naropa! Welcome to Naropa University's Spring 2023 Commencement Ceremony. My name is Sean Goodman, he, him, Director of Mission, Culture, and Inclusive Community. And today, I have the honor of serving as your Master of Ceremonies. I must say, Naropa, you really know how to clean up. You look beautiful. Really, you look beautiful out there. I'm not kidding. I mean, really, you look beautiful. Give it up for yourselves. Best dressed campus in America? I don't know. Somebody call Forbes. Really, give it up one more time for yourselves, Naropa. Thanks for being here today. Y'all are so eager to get up here and get those diplomas, but you can get cozy. It's okay. Yes, we've got some time together. Do you feel it? Yeah, you do. You feel it? Yeah, that's the love. That is the love. Spread it on heavy today, everyone. Lots of consensual hugs and kisses. XOXO. We're here to celebrate. And what a time to be in Boulder. The hills are luscious green. The snow-capped peaks are gleaming with fresh snow. Stopped raining. The birds have returned, summer is on the wind, and for now the air is thick with jubilation for our new graduates. As we arrive here in the exquisite Mackey Auditorium, in the womb of our little sister school, up the hill from Naropa's Arapahoe campus, we join, in this moment at least, as a Naropa beloved community. This building, built in 1922, and across the way, what they call Old Main, built in 1877, are some of the first buildings constructed in Boulder by colonial settlers. But these buildings in Naropa University, home of our academic pursuits, resides on ceded lands that have long been the homes to many sovereign and free peoples of Native America, including the Arapahoe, the Cheyenne, and the Ute, along with many tribes who visited or made homes here from as far away as the Lakota, Apache, Kiowa, Comanche, Pueblo, and Shoshone nations. Naropa University respectfully and humbly acknowledges all 48 contemporary tribal nations historically tied to Colorado and the Rocky Mountain region. This land serves as ancestral home, spiritual center, gathering place, and site of healing for many Native and Indigenous people, and will continue to do so for generations to come. In our acknowledgement of the original stewards, we thank the ancestors of this place and commit to maintaining a just, sustainable, and regenerative relationship to the land on which we learn, to the watersheds we guard, and for the air in which we practice. While these are just words, we believe it is a start in the process of reconciliation as we move towards solidarity and coming into right relations with Native American and Indigenous peoples. It may be of no surprise that Naropa has a rich legacy of multicultural lineages shared here by teachers and wisdom holders from around the world. At the heart of our studies is our practice. As you will see today, our students are strong in their sense of knowing, advocates for peace, social justice, and healing. And in my experience, our students are some of the most self-aware and community-minded people you will meet. Speaking of, It's now my sincere pleasure to introduce Timothy Francis Cox. Timothy will offer the invocation. Timothy is a graduate of the 2023 class of Naropa Masters of Divinity degree program. He is a musician and student of Indian classical music of sitar. He will be performing one of my favorites, an Indian classical song entitled Raga Bhupali. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Naropa University President Charles Leaf. Chuck was named the 7th president of Naropa in 2012 and has a deep connection to Naropa that spans more than 45 years. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium for our opening bow, which is a tradition here at Naropa.
Thanks. I'll start with the gong. I'll ring the gong 3 times, and then please join me in a bow to open this ceremony. Usually the crying doesn't start until after I start to speak, so we got it out of the way. That's good. I'm grateful. And sorry, there's 6 cups of water here and there's a map, so I have to find which one is mine. Sorry if anyone, I think. All right, good. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Naropa faculty, administration, and our students, I'm delighted to welcome the graduates, their families, and friends to this spring 2023 graduation ceremony. If we learned anything over the last few years, that it's not a given that we can always join together in person for a celebration, so it's especially a joy to be able to see you all and be together today. Thanks as well to the staff, faculty, and students who've offered creativity and great effort in organizing today's events as a way to honor the accomplishments of the graduates that we celebrate today. And I'm honored to offer a special welcome to Dr. Diana Quinn, who in addition to an exceptional career across North America is a new and valued member of our Naropa community and will shortly offer this year's commencement address. I think as many of you who have been awake for at least some of the last year know, Naropa is well along in planning the milestone, which is our 50th anniversary, next year, 2024. Next year's graduation will be a few weeks before the official launch of this 50th year anniversary, which will actually happen during the Kerouac School's summer writing program. Between now and then, a planning committee, which has already identified dozens of creative volunteers, will be shaping many events, performances, exhibits, and celebrations that will be offered throughout 2024. If you did the math from Sean's introduction, I was fortunate enough to participate in the opening summer of what was then the Naropa Institute, sort of amazing. And believe me, when I say that we welcomed 2,000 people that summer when we planned for a few hundred, the furthest out that we were looking was whether or not we could find enough chairs and meditation cushions for the talk that was about to start. Thinking in terms of half centuries was simply not happening. But yet, as the Summer Institute in 1974 wound down and we considered the power of the faculty who shared wisdom and inspiration, not just with the students, but with each other, and we considered the unlikely yet profoundly important integration of the core teachings that were offered on alternate nights by Ram Dass and by our founder, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, and as we answered the same question that people here that summer asked 1,000 times, what's next, we knew we were in for a long ride. Our 50th anniversary will blend a celebration of our founding vision that an academic institution would be much more impactful on the lives of students and on the world in which they were going to make a difference if the mindfulness and compassion practices that really are contemplative education were embedded in the curriculum. The strength of that foundation is tied completely to whether or not it's made a difference in the world, and especially whether it continues to do so. Our graduates have affirmatively answered that question from the beginning, and every one of you will join that community of leaders and change makers without doubt to continue the Naropa story. But much more than reflecting on Naropa's history will be the ways that we invite the most inclusive community we can, attract to consider a future built on the foundational work, of course, but free from the constraints of conventional mind and willing to name the current manifestations of injustice and bias and oppression, and are energized to declare that the Naropa of the next 50 years is committed to being no less the radical institution than it was when we audaciously took on the challenge to transform conventional higher education 5 decades ago. The conditions that surrounded the Naropa of 1974 are actually not all that different from those that we're experiencing today. In some cases, that's sad, but it's true. There was war, focused then on Southeast Asia. Today, we look more to Central Europe and the Middle East and Africa. Racism was embedded in our institutions then and now. Gender bias clearly existed 50 years ago, but socially, far fewer of us had the skills to name the manifestations of such bias or to challenge the causes than we can today. With our better awareness and with the courage of 3 generations of activists who have pointed this out. And it's obvious that the environment was under siege then and even more so today. I'm sure you can all add to the list, but don't. for the moment. You can do that later. The point of offering this context and the comparisons was not to depress us, although maybe that's what I did now that I hear what I said. But it's important to note that all schools of Buddhism agree on one point, that the earliest teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha pointed out the common experience of those of us who inhabit a human body, and that that experience is the truth of suffering as a common one across all humanity. So the fact of our discomfort of 50 years ago is similar today is actually no surprise. But equally important is the realization that Buddhism, as well as the other great contemplative traditions, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, Sikhism, or the myriad indigenous and nature-based traditions, all point to a path toward the ending, or perhaps more accurately, the transformation of the energy of suffering, and that that transformation can fuel compassionate and skillful action. Of the many constants from 1974, I think the most profound is that the students and educators at Naropa remain passionate, committed to effecting change in themselves and in their communities, and living compassionate lives. Naropa's role then and now is to offer a container for, as we say often, personal growth and community evolution. The faculty work tirelessly to offer gateways and vehicles so that students like all of you can take advantage of the privilege that is not available to countless billions around the world, the privilege of being in this community for a while, and who can leave here with a level of personal confidence, accomplishment, contemplative tools, and a focus on what calls you next. One important area of growth and opportunity for the Naropa students of 2023, as many of you know now, are the new teaching modalities allowing for engagement both in person and virtually. And I'm really delighted that today we're offering the first bachelor's degrees to students whose program was fully online, and the first low residency master's degree in yoga studies. And I'm delighted to welcome those graduates to our celebration. I know some are here and some are there. Many such gateways have come to fruition in the Graduate School of Counseling Psychology, in Writing and Poetics, in the Master of Divinity, the new online BA in Art Therapy, which will launch this fall, a new BA online in Environmental Studies for the fall of 2024, and more on the horizon. There's really no limit to what we consider. The faculty have very carefully put energy into ensuring that our more virtual programs can offer the unique Naropa experience. And while we have experienced some of the expected growing pains, we have received very strong positive feedback about these programs. None of what I'm saying here is intended to suggest or diminish the residential experience, and the residential experience is still something that I and that the board have consistently said is still also the heart of Naropa. We can have more than one heart. Beyond the traditional degree programs, we're expanding in other areas of professional development, and many of you know the creation of the Naropa Center for Psychedelic Studies. There's far too much to say about the emerging field of psychedelic-assisted therapies, and we can talk about today. But I can say that next week, 110 postgraduate clinical practitioners will arrive in Boulder for a 5-day retreat, which will launch our second 9-month training program, looking not just at the science and the clinical practice, which is the nature of the training around the country, but also ethics, right use of power, understanding the deep issues involving the indigenous communities who have used these sacred medicines for millennia, and the critical need for equitable access to such care in order for this field not to be focused on maximizing profits and therefore limiting those who can be served. Naropa is one of only 2 accredited universities in the country that are training clinical practitioners. The other universities are focused on the science, hugely important. But in terms of training, most of the training is happening with private institutions, some for-profit, some nonprofit, mix of quality. But I would say any of you that are interested in this field, take a look, see what drives our curriculum and what sets our curriculum apart, because I think you'll find that it carries the Naropa beating heart with it. We hope that many of you who are graduating with master's degrees in counseling psychology or Master of Divinity will track our psychedelic therapy work and consider ways it might have a place in your own practice in the future. And for future graduate and undergraduate students, sorry for those of you who are here today, but concentration in psychedelic-assisted therapy is a couple of years away, both at the BA and at the MA level, which is something we're very excited about. and there'll be opportunities for non-degree participation as well. The Naropa Counseling Center, the Community Counseling Center, is our Medicaid community-based mental health clinic serving low-income residents of Boulder County, offering training to lots of interns from our program, but also from universities like the University of Northern Colorado, Regis, Metro State University. And the Counseling Center is about to move to a much larger space at the end of the summer in order to respond to the unmet need for care. A very wealthy county like Boulder County has a considerable lack of adequate mental health care, and then add to it mental health care that's affordable, and it's shameful. And so one of the work that our faculty started 20 years ago, our faculty at GSCP were determined to open a clinic that would serve low-income residents of Boulder County. It took a while, but several years ago we opened, and the fact is now, under some very strong leadership and with the support of the interns and the supervisors of the interns, many of whom are Naropa faculty or Naropa alums, we have a real opportunity to provide quite a lot of additional care. The fact is that Naropa's graduate school altogether is less than 1% of the total number of graduate students in the state of Colorado, and more than 20% of the licensed counseling psychologists come from this program, come from Naropa, which is... And whether here or across the country, our counselors and our therapists have an outside impact on the delivery of mental health care, and that's something that we should be very proud of and continue to support. Over the past months also, we've been hosting gatherings for alumnus and donors, former faculty, friends of Naropa, as a way of taking Naropa, as we're calling it, Naropa in your neighborhood. And I've been to New York, Chicago, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, with many more to be scheduled. And I'm saying it because this is finally, I think, beginning to meet the promise that we've had, that we want to keep in contact, and we want to keep connection. And doing it in person as a way to start is a very important way to do it. So this regular engagement is something that I hope you will all take advantage of. And the stories that we heard by the people that attended these events have been touching and affirming. In LA, 3 people walked in. It was a 40-year-old or so man and the 2, I thought, parents, a man and a woman who were in their late 70s or early 80s. And I went up to the 40-some-year-old man and welcomed him back, assuming he was the graduate. And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, no, it was my mother." And my mother was here, graduated in 1980, and today is teaching mindfulness meditation at a university in California. He just said, "I'm here to support her because Naropa was so important to her in her life," which was pretty good. In Chicago, we met a new faculty member in the online BA psychology program, and we're all moved when she said how wonderful it was to be part of her first in-person Naropa community event, which is not something I thought about. But she was there and she became part of that community immediately. I also met the not-to-be-named parents of a not-to-be-named graduate who may be here today, who reminded me of a conversation that we had 4 years ago at orientation when one of the parents, the mom, asked very nicely, but in a very, very pointed Midwestern way. I'm from Ohio, so I get it. She looked around and, thinking about her son who was about to say goodbye to them for a while, she said, "I don't know what he did. Why is he here?" And so, now, honestly, it's not the first time I've had that question asked of me, so I actually have a whole bunch of answers to that question. I was happy, and we had a really good conversation, but I got it, and I understood the context. Now, 4 years later in Chicago last month, I figured they showed up, so that was probably a good thing. And we had the refreshed conversation, and I was able to experience how that question of what did he do dissolved completely and into delight at the impact of what the hard work of the individual student and the power of sharing hearts and minds in this community actually means to human beings as we develop. And so I think we mutually did a good job, and I thank you all for helping me answer that question and help me all for telling the truth 4 years ago. Communities need inspiration, humor, and shared values to thrive, and these events that we're doing out in the country are ways to provide those ingredients. In addition to marking our 50th anniversary next year, we will, if the stars align, be welcoming a new Naropa president in the summer or fall of 2024. I've been blessed to have served for 12 years, which feels like a good time for Naropa to find new energy, new vision, and new ways to collaborate with our exceptional faculty and staff. There'll be a lot more to say about that search, but I urge anyone who can to engage with your ideas, your suggestions and thoughts, recommended candidates, or apply for the job yourself. We're a non-conventional place, so go for it. There'll be a robust website, and you'll be able to find ways to connect with the presidential search as it moves forward. I'm immensely grateful to every one of our graduates for challenging, inspiring, and offering your stories so that they can be woven together with the thousands of stories of those who preceded you. We are so fortunate to have been able to share time and space together. And I congratulate you for your accomplishments and want to offer, as we've done each of the graduations that I've been part of for the last, since 2012, some lines from a poem that was written by our founder, Trungpa Rinpoche, in 1977. And I'll note I've taken the liberty to translate a couple of Sanskrit words into English from the original. In the jungles of flaming ego, may there be cool iceberg of awakened heart. On the racetrack of bureaucracy, may there be the walk of the elephant. May the sumptuous castle of arrogance be destroyed by diamond-like confidence. In the garden of gentle sanity, may you be bombarded by coconuts of wakefulness. So thank you, congratulations to all of your graduates. So it's now my pleasure to welcome Dr. Diana Quinn to offer our commencement address. Diana's biography appears in your program, and I will make a note that it says PhD, but she actually has an ND. She's a naturopathic doctor, and sorry on behalf of our proofreading division. I encourage you to learn more about her exceptional accomplishments, her unflagging dedication to offering healing to marginalized communities. What is also so important to Naropa is the good fortune that we had late last year in welcoming Diana to our Center for Psychedelic Studies as the Assistant Director of Community Care. Diana was a game-changing faculty member for our inaugural professional certificate last year. She was crystal clear that no training participant, no matter what credentials they carried into the room, could feel successful without exploring the intersection of healing justice with psychedelic medicines and questioning how, in their own practices, they're ready to ensure equity, non-oppression, and the dismantling of the patriarchal frame. I'm immensely grateful that Diana, who is in demand internationally to speak and teach, so deeply connected with Naropa and chose to dedicate so much of her time and to offer so much of her wisdom to our participants and certainly to our graduating class today. Her work is relevant across the curriculum, not just in psychedelic studies, and is already impacting work outside that center. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Diana Quinn.
Consult the map for my glass of water here. Good afternoon. I'm honored to be with you today. And once again, in Naropa tradition, I'd like to open with a bow. I bow to the original peoples of this land and the tribal communities residing here today. I greet you as a visitor and guest. I bow to you, President Leaf. Thank you for your leadership, guidance, and years of service. I bow to you. I bow to you, Sean Goodman, Sue West, and Ann Parker. Thank you for your commitment to Naropa. I bow to you, Naropa trustees, faculty, and staff. Thank you for the many lives you have touched through your dedication. I bow to you, the parents, family, and friends of the graduates. Thank you for the love and support you've provided that have helped to allow them to achieve this great accomplishment that brings you all here today. And I bow to you, graduates of the class of 2023. Congratulations. I honor your journey, begun years ago and culminating today in the completion of this cycle of learning and growth on the cusp of Naropa's 50th anniversary. The legacy of Naropa is built on the premise that when East meets West, sparks will fly. And I have no doubt that your time here has sparked your mind and ignited your heart that you may illuminate the world. As distinguished graduates of Naropa University, your choice to conduct your studies here says a lot about your values and priorities as a world citizen. Whatever your concentration and credentials earned here, as a Naropa grad, your commitment to the liberation of all beings, the alleviation of suffering, to social and ecological justice will illuminate what you offer the world beyond these halls. I am certain that during your time at Naropa, you've received insights from deep lineages and profound wisdom traditions. In honor of your endeavors, I make a humble offering today of 4 teachings that I have received from my elders and teachers, which include indigenous peoples, as well as sacred medicines that have shaped my life and path. The first teaching is that you already have within you everything that you need. In fact, you always have, although your time here has helped to refine and enhance the gifts you came to offer the world. While the culture at Naropa is distinct from other institutions, to say the least, academia and society generally insist that accumulating degrees and letters after one's name enhances one's value and importance. But beneath the accomplishments that have brought you here today is the truth that you have always been enough and you will always be enough just because you are. This truth resides within the deep ocean of your true nature, the eternal and inviolable part of you. This true self is the seat of your personal power, your beauty, and your medicine. Tricia Hersey, founder of the NAP Ministry and author of Rest is Resistance, speaks of connecting with this true self, saying that to just be, to deepen into what already is and can never be taken from us is the praxis. We don't need to have our eyes and mouths wide open, searching to accomplish more, to be more, to do more. Hersey invites us to enter the portal of rest and to plant oneself inside the soil of one's imagination, an invitation all the more salient when you consider that, as Adrienne Marie Brown has noted, we are in an imagination battle. And that to reclaim and strengthen the muscle of our imagination is a revolutionary act of decolonization. Yes. To imagine, to daydream, to be present to our true nature requires that we pause and be still, which is in itself an act of resistance to the societal mandate that we hustle for our worthiness. In the days to come, may you continue to deepen into stillness, into radical rest, and into the knowing of yourself as enough. The second teaching is that all wounds are the same wound. The illusion of separation at the core of modernity is a source of great suffering and harm, and restoring connection and kinship the remedy. Renowned botanist, educator, and citizen of the Potawatomi Nation, Robin Wall Kimmerer, speaks of kinship as a verb, guiding us to restore our relationship to the natural world through acts of kinning. Practices of deep listening, feeling, and interbeing challenge the perception that we are separate and distinct beings. She says, quote, "Sometimes we think of our bodies or our skin as the end of us, the end of the individual. You end there and I end here. But I think it's much more helpful to think of the skin as a membrane, which is what it is. It's actually our ability to hear the world. Think of yourself as a drumhead. You're not out there observing the world from your own perspective. The world is actually playing you," unquote. This awareness of being played like a drum by the world may be a departure from ordinary states of consciousness for the Western mind. Such non-ordinary states can be achieved in many ways, including mindfulness, meditation, and psychedelic experiences. Research in the field of psychedelic science describes the so-called mystical experience that these substances can induce, characterized by a sense of wonder and awe, a feeling of unity and interconnectedness. Within the mystical experience lies the knowing that one has never been and can never be outside of the world, but is instead interwoven, a cell in the great organism of this breathing planet. Of course, psychedelics offer but one path to an experience of non-dualism, albeit fleeting and not without its shadow side. In Be Here Now, the late Ram Dass observed that, quote, "Many people who use psychedelics primarily experience planes where their ego is present. Thus, they often attempt to use the powers that are available in such a plane in service of their ego. This creates additional karma for them, for it is action which comes from attachment. As such, psychedelics can engender profound mystical experiences of non-duality, but can potentially reinforce the ego, the grandiose and messianic, the extractive and the exploitative. Naropa founder Trungpa Rinpoche warned that the ego can convert anything to its own use, even spirituality. And spiritual materialism is abundant in the field of psychedelics. These powerful substances have been described as non-specific amplifiers, amplifying what is present in the psyche and in the set and setting, which in these times includes the setting of late-stage capitalism. The growing popularity of psychedelic therapy is revealing in that so many people are seeking a remedy for the agonizing paradigm of separation that we live in. Which brings me to the third teaching, that these systems of modernity and coloniality are dying. Those of us who have incarnated in these times have the opportunity to hospice modernity, to bear witness to the decline of a global system built upon the illusion of separation. Decolonial scholar and author Vanessa Macchiato de Oliveira instructs that when we consider unsustainable systems of modernity as being beyond reform, theories for change include walkout, hacking, and hospicing. To walk out is to search for alternatives, an approach that can be susceptible to romanticization and embedded with colonial values. Hacking involves trying to play the system from the inside, which can make one a pawn for the game, a risky endeavor where you can become complicit in harm. To hospice is to attend to the dying of these unsustainable structures, whereby humanity can learn important lessons about the mistakes and accomplishments of modernity so that they can be applied toward midwifing the birth of what is to come. Hospicing modernity includes grieving our own investments in modernity's promises of convenience and comfort, and of the illusion of certainty and control. I find respite during this time of the Great Turning in the prophecies of cultures with long memories, whose people tracked cycles of time and passed down their observations and insights through oral traditions for millennia. In her book, As We Have Always Done, Mississauga Nishnabeg writer and musician Leanne Beda-Samosaki Simpson cites the importance of thinking forward and backward at the same time. When we think in cyclical rather than linear time, we can see more clearly the ways that the generations are linked, the ways that we are nested within relationships with both our ancestors and descendants. In cyclical time, time travel is possible. We can go back in time and retrieve our younger selves from traumatic experiences where they were left frozen, or visit a 10th great-grandmother to retrieve a piece of epigenetic wisdom, or metabolize the burden of untended grief from an ancestral lineage, or visit future generations and tell them, we are holding you in our hearts as we envision a world where you survive and thrive. Our ancient ancestors recognized the synchronicity within nonlinear patterns of time and the earthly experience of astronomical, seasonal, and lunar cycles as being part of an intelligent and living cosmos. Through empirical observation of the natural world over eons, systems of precise mathematics and astronomy, art, and culture evolved across the globe. Traditional ecological knowledge is evidence-based science. And in many ways, Western science is still catching up. Elders and teachers that I have been privileged to study with instruct that, according to numerous indigenous traditions, over the course of these long cycles of time, the world has ended many times over. As Aboriginal scholar Tyson Yunkaporta writes in his chapter, The Tether, in the book How Psychedelics Can Help Save the World, quote, "This is not the first apocalypse we've experienced. In Australia, there are many stories about previous cataclysms, and a lot of them are supported by the geological data. They're quite survivable. So if people are looking for hope, that's a good place to start. It just means we have to change a bit." So, Naropa grads, the fourth and final offering that I'll leave you with today, changemakers and thought leaders, is that all of these teachings are grounded in the body and in community. The Soma holds the dignity of the true self, the knowing of our interdependence, and our location between past and future in the eternal now of these vast cycles of time. The generative somatic centering practice orients us in time and space and to the four directions. So join me now in centering on the dimension of length, connecting to your inherent dignity and worthiness. Bring awareness to your contact with the earth below, and extend through the crown, lengthening into your personal power and feeling your basic goodness. Center on the dimension of width, allowing yourself to expand, to fill out the breadth of your connection and belonging. Allow yourself to take up space and feel your place in the community of human and more than human beings. Center on the dimension of depth, bringing awareness to your back as you lean into the lineages that uphold you and the allies who have your back, and all that you've learned along your journey. Past and present meet in the belly, in your center of gravity, the seat of what you most care about and are committed to. From here, move forward towards the future that we are co-creating as we imagine new possibilities and midwife a new world into being. Graduates, may finding your center in the body and in beloved community fortify you in these times of change. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Your presence and practice of kinship is medicine for these times. With the compassion and solidarity that you have cultivated here at Naropa, you are well prepared to show your appreciation for the world through your service to it. As I conclude, I bow in deep celebration of all of you. May the flame within you illuminate the world. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome Matthew Beals to the stage to perform his original song, Home. Matthew is a graduate in the Master's Program of Contemplative Psychotherapy and Buddhist Psychology. He is also a musician who writes and performs folk music under his better-known name, Johnny Blueheart.
Thank you. So this is a song that I wrote about the idea of home. Is home a place? Is it a feeling? And as so many of us here go on to graduate and follow our own paths out into the world, maybe we can think of Naropa or some of the people that we've met here as a kind of home that we can come back to. And at the same time, I know that it gets really hard out there, and it would do us well to build a home inside ourselves as well. How do you wake up each day? Can you find the will to say, I'm home? No more to roam. And when you go to sleep at night, can you say you lived it right? Can't say. Reason's gone away. Ooh, come on home. Ooh, come on home. What's that in your eyes I see? Could you be the one to be my friend? I need a friend. And when the sky has turned to gray and all your friends are gone away, come home. You're not alone. Ooh, come on home. Ooh, come on home.
feeling the home right here in the womb of Naropa. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Ann Parker to offer the faculty address. Ann is a world-wandering geographer, author, and longtime teacher at Naropa University in the fields of eco-psychology, environmental studies, and environmental leadership. Now a professor emeritus, Ann continues to weave her learning from and research with traditional cultures into her ongoing teaching and projects. She is the author and co-author of several books. Ann Parker.
So what I really want to say to you, the graduates, is thank you. And I mean that very deeply. I so admire your creativity and your courage, and I'm glad that you're here in the world at this time. And you also made a courageous choice to study at an unusual university. And as I see you, you came to learn, to serve, and to transform the world. I really suspect that you didn't come here to extract the world's resources mindlessly or to perpetuate endless wars. You clearly came as healers and weavers of sanity, and for that I'm very grateful. And also you have taken to heart the work of the Jedi, and that is justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion that is absolutely essential to a just, sane, compassionate, and vibrant world. So thank you for this work. And I think it's really important to point out that you learned on 3 levels: the outer level, the interpersonal level, and the inner. And I think this is tremendously important. So not only did you study the invaluable outer level of the intellect and academic rigor, you also bravely had to bare your hearts to learn the interpersonal level of emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. And also you dove deep into the inner work of contemplative practices, coming to know your states of mind and heart and your own innate wisdom. So these 3 skills, I think, are tremendously important for these times. And as I thought about speaking with you today, it came to my mind that I've been in academia, either studying or teaching for half a century, which is a long time. And and thus, I've heard many graduation speeches at both government and private universities. And I realized that there's I noticed if we had to summarize it, there's an important underlying theme to these talks, often anyway. And one is we want to inspire our students to serve the world because we need you. And we also let you know that we hope that you will repair the damage we have done and the messes that we have made. And I realize that all this time, because I've taught in environmental studies and eco-psychology, I've been listening and waiting to hear something particular in a talk. And what I've been waiting for is the elephant in the room, and that is climate change. And climate change not as a bumper sticker comment or the last in a list of problems too big to discuss, but I want to put it in the forefront. And I feel a bit disingenuous asking you to fix up the messes that we have created. And I was really moved by the words of Greta Thunberg, who you probably know is a very young climate activist. And her words really affected me. She said, "Yet you all come to us, young people, for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. People are suffering." And so, although I do feel disingenuous, I am counting on you. And that means our graduates, but everyone in this room and beyond. I'm counting on all of us. And this is quite a huge topic, and we only have a few moments together. So what I want to do together is go to the heart of it, to really go straight to the heart of our relationship with climate change. So we know that none of us are unaffected by climate change, we experience it at this moment in time. I say, for myself, that we're past the stage of believing or not believing. All we need to do is look out our window or read the news for the news of fires and floods and droughts and flooding coastlines all over the world. And it affects every walk of life and discipline. And that means your discipline: art therapy, psychology, religious studies, poetry and writing, education, yoga, dance, environmental studies, music, and eco-psychology. So there's no escape. So what do we do? This was a question that was asked every year. I would take students to the National Center of Atmospheric Research here in Boulder. These are the Peace Prize winning climate scientists there. And about 12 years ago, I remember a particular moment when I was there with some students, and they were sitting at the foot of a climate scientist whose name is Jeffrey Keel. He's one of the Nobel Peace Prize winners. That was about 12 years ago. And the students asked that question, but they really trusted him. And they trusted him because he had done the interpersonal and the inner work. He had been a climate scientist for 30 years doing analysis and study and research. But he began to wonder about why people were not understanding it. And so in the same time period, he went out and got himself a PhD in Jungian psychology. He wanted to understand these interpersonal things, how do we be? And he also then realized that there was another layer that was so tremendously important, and that was the inner work. And that was the work of meditation. So he began to study his own inner workings, so to speak, and he became a teacher of that. So the students really trusted that he had given this full consideration when they asked that question: what do we do now? And he said, scientists have made it clear and have given all the necessary information and data. Scientists have done everything to communicate this, but now we need everyone else to take it forward. So what does that mean? Does it mean that we change our light bulbs and recycle and try to get enough money to get a solar panel? Yes, but there's so much more. That's important, but I want to go to another place. We're going to aim into the heart of it. And one thing we need to do is talk to each other deeply and to call forth the deepest wisdom in every person that we meet. This is a very deep level of the work that's needed. And we need to really listen and talk to each other about this. And when, in this beautiful and simple way of being authentic together, we can call forth unimaginable love and creativity that each of us hold, inviting unknown emergent properties and insights to arise. So this is the capacity of all of us. And also, we do need to repair our relationship with the more than human world. And I'm going to speak, the inspiring field of eco-psychology reminds us of our inseparability with all life, that is, our whole family, inviting us to finally remember and honor the wisdom of indigenous peoples and all of what all of our ancestors knew. And there are many wonderful people in the field of eco-psychology. It's emerging. There's some of them in the audience graduating today. There they are. And there are many leaders, and I want to just mention specifically our very own Joanna Macy, who really taught how to sit and be present with grief and step through that doorway to the awakening of who you are and what you can do in this world. And I want to give you my definition of eco-psychology. I've often been in places where many people have never heard of it, and this is the way I explained it. Everyone's got their own definition, and this is mine. So in Western psychology and the development of it, there was a desire to really help people, to really find the well-being and support the person in fulfilling their life and their well-being. But very quickly, it's obvious that we have to work with the family. We can't work with a person in isolation. We need to know the family dynamics and the family constellations and this other world that becomes intimate with that one person. And then we also began to attend to systemic issues, the cultural and the social structures that surround the person and all that influences us. And that includes structures that cling to racism, oppression, and abuse that affect our lives. So we really needed to look at this larger family. And now eco-psychology steps in with the understanding of the issues of our whole family, that is the living earth, our living earth, that affects us. So we cannot avoid grief or despair with climate change through denial. We can't just pretend it's not there, because we are part of that whole. It is our whole family. And I hope to say to you, which, I really think it's true, it's a doorway. Grief is a doorway. Grief is a good sign, because we love our earth, and it opens the doorways to your love and capacity. And so I think together we can find the unreasonable joy of working together to rebalance the human relationship with Earth. And as the acclaimed scientist James Lovelock pointed out to us, it's not like we're sitting around on a dead ball with an atmosphere that's just hanging around. We, all living beings, co-create and balance the atmosphere on a daily basis. We're breathing together to create the atmosphere in which we live. And that means all living things. So there is no sense of a dead earth. And as part of a living, self-regulating earth, it operates like a body. Just as a human body can heal from illness, together we may self-regulate and rebalance the earth. So, and now, not too many moments away from holding your diploma in your hand, I'm going to give you your last assignment. It's very brief, and it's for the students and it's for everybody in the room, because we together will do this together. So it's a very short contemplative practice, and I invite you just to go deeply. We'll just be taking a moment to do this together, but we'll be doing it together. And so first, let's just simply maybe look a little bit around the room here and take a deep breath together. So we're going to take that breath at the same time together. And then you may choose with your eyes open or closed as you please. You're going to settle into your chair and just simply let thinking rest. Let thinking simply rest and be present here together at this moment. And now I ask you to visualize something. Visualize yourself standing before the council of all life, all living beings, and you can feel them all around you. Everyone is here. The ponderosa pines, the mountain lions, the rattlesnakes, the moths, the whales, the egrets, the geckos, the sardines, the roses, the vast mycelial web, the aspens, the rivers, the mountains, the winds and the clouds. Everyone has spoken. And now we humans must step forward to speak. It is our turn. It is your turn. And imagine now that a teeny bird, a wren, comes to land on your wrist, and it looks at you and peers at you quizzically and asks the question that you must answer within the inner silence of your own heart. And here is the question: what wild, outrageous love will you bring to rebalancing our world? What does your heart say? And now, as you felt that, you can open your eyes. And I just want to say that we have met there. We together have met in the heart, calling forth the emerging path ahead. So I am bowing to your courage and all the gifts that you bring. Thank you.
Just gets better. Now I welcome undergraduate student speaker Jenna Elaine Priest. Jenna is graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology with a concentration in transpersonal and humanistic psychology. During her time at Naropa, she has taken a keen interest in ecopsychology and Taiji. After graduation, Jenna dreams of blending her intuitive and academic understanding of environmental science and contemplative psychology into a bridge that will one day become a potent agent of healing to the human-nature relationship. Until then, you will find her outside learning from the local environment, studying the magic of the natural world, and practicing her Taiji form. Jenna.
Thank you so much, Sean. Hello, everyone, graduates, loved ones, alumni, faculty and staff, both in person and virtual. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this momentous occasion. This shaking keeps me steady. I should know. I learn by going where I have to go. This small stanza, adapted from The Walking, a beautiful poem by Theodore Retke, touches on what is, in my opinion, one of the greatest gifts of a Naropa education: the ability to rest in not knowing and to allow the unknown to unfold as your path forward. One of my favorite stories that exemplifies this is a retelling of a formative childhood moment as experienced by David Bohm, one of the most influential theoretical physicists of the 20th century, and whose contributions have shaped quantum physics into what it is today. It goes like this. David was a young boy exploring the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina with his friends when they happened upon a rushing stream. The boys began to cross by very small and far apart stepping stones. David stood apprehensive by the side of the torrent and began to analyze every possible route, attempting to map his way to the other side, when suddenly he realized that this simply wasn't possible. He would instead have to jump from one stone to the next without stopping, trusting that in each step his foot would be met with the next stone until he had made it to the other side of the stream. I'm sharing this with you because you too have stood beside the rushing stream that is Naropa University. Without knowing what might await you on the other side of this transformative experience, and unsure of exactly how you might get there, you took your first steps and set everything in motion. A common thread amongst us Naropians is the string of seemingly serendipitous events that led us to the banks of this great institution. It was the trust in the unknown that guided us to embark on this journey and to place our feet on the unfamiliar stones of classes like deep ecology, conflict transformation, or ikebana. One stone at a time, you forged your path in a way that has never been done before and likely won't ever again. As your semesters of learning through the lens of contemplative education passed, your confidence grew. You began to take more definitive and decisive strides, faithful that, like David Bohm, your weight would always be met with earth. But it wasn't you alone that took these steps. We were all there, your Naropa community, just as excited and nervous as you to enter into the stream. There was the support of your loved ones who reached out whenever the torrent picked up and your footing began to feel unstable. And then there were our professors, knee-deep in the water with trickster smiles, encouraging us to keep going. Through rain, wind, snow, and sunshine, you made it to the other bank to be seated here today with all of those who helped make it possible. But the adventure doesn't stop here. With the sound of the roaring river to your back, a new path emerges. Once again, you must face the unknown. Class of 2023, I'd like to leave you with this sentiment from Zhuangzi. Understanding that is resting in what it does not understand is the finest. Hold this in your pocket as you meet the challenging and exciting experiences that lie before you. Resting in the unknown and allowing it to unfold, to become your path forward, is the gift of your Naropa education. Congratulations, graduating class of 2023. You have traversed the river of Naropa University, and in doing so, transformed yourself. Now it is time to go forth and transform the world. Thank you.
On the script, it says option here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cash in on that option. How you feeling, Naropa? How you feeling? Yeah, those bodies starting to get a little bit fidgety. You need a little break. So, while the feels are coming in, I would like to invite an embodied mindfulness moment. So if you want to stand up and just stretch the legs, maybe get those arms up to the heavens, you can just do this however you want. Maybe down to the earth, touch your toes. Breathe in this moment. You're a human being living your best life in support of your friends and your family and your loved ones. Here we are. Namaste. And now on with the show. Speaking of namaste, I now welcome our graduate student speaker. You know who she is? Cassandra Smith. To the stage, please. Cassandra Smith to the stage. Cassie first came to Naropa in 2015 as a staff member in the marketing department, where she has and currently works in a variety of roles to help share Naropa's story with the world. Over the past 8 years at Naropa, she has also been a teaching assistant, co-chair of the Staff Executive Council, and a winner of the annual baking contest at Naropa's staff holiday party. Cassandra Smith.
Hello, everyone. I feel incredibly honored to be here today and to share this special moment with all of you. I'd like to start by wishing my father a happy birthday. It's right there. Happy birthday. And also my mother and all the other mothers in the room a happy Mother's Day. I know that I'm certainly not the only one who needed the support and family of friends to get here today, and so I'm so grateful for everyone who helped us get to this moment. So as Sean said, I've been blessed to be a part of the Naropa community for a while. And for the past 3 years, as both a full-time staff member and full-time student, it's fair to say that I have been eating, sleeping, and breathing Naropa. To add fuel to that fire, when it came to for me to choose a topic for my master's thesis, I also chose Naropa. So for the past few months especially, I have been really immersed in the lore of Naropa in an effort to understand its significance and impact in the world. And so in the course of my thesis research, my brilliant professor, Dr. Ben Williams, invited me to consider Naropa as a nexus. Merriam-Webster defines nexus as a connection or link between the things, persons, or events that is a part of a chain of causation. And while I think Ben meant for me to consider this on more of a macro level, I found that this comparison felt very fitting for me on a personal level as well. Naropa has served as the main connection or link between the things, people, and events that have been a part of my own story of evolution. And in so many ways, this nexus of Naropa has been a space, or a container, as one might say, for me to grow and transform into a more wise, compassionate, and skillful human being. My story of transformation at Naropa started with a radical reframing of my relationship with perfectionism. I spent my childhood and teen years aggressively training to become a professional ballerina, which is a vocation that pretty much requires some degree of perfectionism to succeed. And after a few years of dancing at Boston Ballet, when I came to Naropa, I brought that perfectionism with me. And my utopian vision for Naropa, a place where we would wear scarves and drink tea, and everyone would have already done all the work to transcend their ego and their neurosis, that was quickly shattered. Naropa is very clearly a work in progress, and despite its best efforts, it fails at times to live up to its stated values and feels chaotic, disorganized, and messy. So when my perfectionism first came into contact with this messiness, I couldn't handle it. But after many hours spent in the bathroom crying over things not going exactly how I wanted, I came to an important realization. The messiness of Naropa was not going to change because I wanted it to. If I wanted to stay at Naropa, which I did, I was going to have to change. I was going to have to learn to let go of the perfect and not sacrifice it for the good. And in this process of learning to let go of expecting perfection from myself, I also learned to extend this gesture to others. I finally saw the truth, that being a human is just messy, and that's okay. It's okay because messiness is workable. And ultimately, I learned that perfection is not a requirement on the path to liberation, and I'm so grateful to Naropa for teaching me that lesson. So, my journey of growth through the nexus of Naropa has at times felt like a flower blooming in the sunlight, and at other times like grinding two stones together in an effort to smooth them out. Maybe some of you can relate. And so while the divine moments in the sun are great and important to savor, I've ultimately found that the grinding is just as important. It creates sparks. And I think this is the point of what we're doing here at Naropa. As our founder said at Naropa's conception 49 years ago, when East meets West, sparks will fly. Naropa's approach to education is intentionally radical and inclusive. Rather than just focusing on educating the mind, Naropa invites the body, heart, and soul to come along for the ride. Through this holistic or contemplative approach to education, what you learn here becomes a part of you and changes you to your core. And since this is the last speech you will hear before becoming a Naropa alum, we're almost done, I want to end by talking about what that means. So as someone whose job it's been to tell the stories of what Naropa graduates do after they leave, I can tell you with certainty that you are about to join a community of rock stars. This community includes a literal rock star, a Fortune 500 CEO, a sustainable handbag designer, and New York Times bestselling authors, as well as thousands of therapists, chaplains, artists, activists, teachers, poets, and more, who are out there every day trying to create a more just and regenerative world. Yeah. And so I want to leave you with a metaphor for this Naropa community that my dear friend Kendall, who is also graduating today, offered during our yoga studies retreat last year. As we were sitting in a grove of aspen trees discussing the concept of non-duality, as one does at Naropa, she observed that although each of the aspen trees looked like an individual organism, underneath the root systems of all the trees are connected through intertwining networks that can span across acres. So as we walk across this stage into wherever life is going to take us next, we can think of ourselves as aspen trees, having an experience as an individual being, but ultimately connected at our roots. And at any time, we can tap back into these roots that bind us for support, connection, and inspiration. I can't wait to see this Naropa root system grow and become stronger through all of you and the amazing work that you're about to do in the world. Congratulations to everyone. I wish you all the very best. We did it.
Now welcome President Chuck Leaf and Chief Academic Officer and Vice President of Academic Affairs Sue West to confer degrees.
Yes. Would the master's degree candidates please rise?
Mr. President, the individuals now presented to you have completed all the requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts, Masters of Divinity, Master of Fine Arts, at the request of the faculty of Naropa University, and on their behalf, I present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
Upon successful completion of degree requirements, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Divinity, or Master of Fine Arts with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Yeah. Well, one of us can do it. You can do it.
Please be seated. I invite Kelly Watt, Senior Director of Admissions and Alumnex Relations, to announce the graduating student names.
Hello. I take this job very seriously, everyone, so if I pause a while before I say a name, it's because I want to get it right. And if it adds 5 minutes to the ceremony total, I think it's worth it, so. All right. Come on up. For the program Resilient Leadership, Climate Justice Track, Cody Orion Ridey. The degree of Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling, Concentration in Contemplative Psychotherapy and Buddhist Psychology, Lauren E. Alexander. Matthew Beals. Benjamin Bertino. Alyssa Christodoro. Lillian Gehagen. Ariel Alejandra Gonzalez. Kelly Humes. Kirsten Megan Knorr. Hugh Passage. Samantha Marie Patel. Kendall Showerman. Corinna Shum. Joseph Kevin Zarella. For the concentration in somatic counseling, body psychotherapy. Woo, get it out, everybody. Ooh, the mic's moving. Okay, Chloe Nicole Barrett Nichols. Wait, no. Chloe Nichols Barrett Page. Eve Chantel Burnham. Asher Caden Gilmer. Maxwell James Harlow. Katerina Hropova. Kate Keeley. Eve Penberthy. Anna Maria Rodkowska. Angelia Simeti. Sarah Vanetta. Sarah Wichkowski. Concentration in somatic counseling, dance movement therapy. You may dance in the aisles while I read the names. Shannon Kathleen Borman. Gorgeous. You look great. Alicia Borges. Michelle Lynn Burns. Kayla Maureen Chambers. Clark Marie Finkelstein. Lindsay Marie Jones. Sonia Bao Tran Win. We'll give her a moment. Melinda Marie Salisbury. We got you. Madison Marie Centivani. Concentration in transpersonal counseling psychology. Wait for it. I'm not done. Mindfulness, it's too much. Mindfulness-based transpersonal counseling. We love long titles. You're welcome. Tony, Beth, Axelrod. Bagley, okay, no, I've got it. Mary Bagley. Alyssa Nicole Bailey. Jennifer Barrios. Wendy Barrios. Joseph Hall Bentley. Brendan Michael Caldwell. Dana Cohen. Talia DeFranco. Jocelyn Yoakum DiChiara. Yeah, you. Jocelyn Yoakum DiChiara. Okay. Eleonora Mortellero. Kenna Chris. Sonia Raven Favaloro. Chris Florian. Brenna Foley. Colin Foster. Alexandra Bourgeois. I gotta get it right. I'm not messing them up now, everybody. Zachary Nathaniel Gart? You got it. Great. Zachary Nathaniel Gart. Jacqueline Mirel Gaithman. Geddes. Melissa S. Grivey. Casey Joe Hall. Alexandria Hampton. Charla Harvey. Lee Elizabeth Heckman. Marie Naomi Januszewski. Did I get it? Congratulations. Shannon Jimenez. Lynn Kemp. Clayton Harvey Klima. Piper McDougall Kriz. Dylan Ross Lee. Bridget Lupitin. Rebecca K. McCord. Meg P. McNeil. Jennifer Joan McShay. Chloe Elise Miller. Elise A. Miller. I got all excited. Give me a minute. Okay. Julia Nicole Munsterer. Alyssa Jane Mullen. Carla K. Nahal. Sarah A. Nitschke. Audrey Noel Patterson. Ellie Perry. Elise Ropp Gardner. Great. Nicole Rosen. Easy peasy. Sophie Salin. Monica Renee Sandoval. Landon Scott Sherborne. Clara Isadora Sherman. Erica Shore. Megan Stetson. Hannah Robin Taxman. Toby. It's all her brand. Okay. Laura Travisano. Patricia. I'm getting there. It's getting there. Mm-hmm. Patricia Ansley Tripp. Thank you. Ellen Marie Tui. Helene Vandenberg. Miranda Rachel Viorst. Luke Waljasper. Jeannie Waters. Cody Watts. Avery Marie Williams. Rose Winkler. Bridget K. Winters. Dawn Marie Yarbrough. Liz Zhao. The fabulous Sofia Drobinskaya. Tawny Swanton. Concentration in transpersonal counseling psychology, transpersonal art therapy. Kimberly Adam. Katie Janetti. Mads Clues. Caitlin Elizabeth Lemp and Elliot. Randall Mario Court. Yes, right. Chloe Mincher. Marissa Lindsay Montgomery. Johanna Opek. Elizabeth Caitlin Sloan O'Brien. Sarah Elaine Tutto il Mondo. Lily Waycaster. Concentration in transpersonal counseling psychology, transpersonal wilderness therapy. Christina M. Benson. Everett Justin Dietzler. Marley Rose Hill Philbin. Jacob Kudovitz. Justin Keith Landon. Callie Canavan Marin. Mickey B. Myers. Charles Stevenson. Tara Ann Thorpe. Seth Tolbert. Elena Therese Woofter. Religious Studies, Concentration in Contemplative Religions, Elvira Sevilla. Concentration in Yoga Studies, Sophia Louise Deloff. Kendall Nicole Higgins. Dustin Nicholas Holmes. Peter Monteparo. Cleo Post. Cassandra Smith. Danielle D. Vardakis. Transpersonal Ecopsychology. Kelsey Jo Bomboy. Kia Noelle Marie Brown. Julie Sue Esme Bird. These cards are gold, y'all. Okay, Grace Farrington. Marissa Hanna. Here we go. Okay. Megan Elizabeth Krivsky. Maddie Linworth. Pittenger. Tara Linda Pittenger. Megan Jane Scott. Robin Jennifer Silver. Alyssa Turner. The degree of Master of Divinity. Axel Bryce. Timothy Francis Cox. Jeffrey Nearing. Jason Padilla. Rob Patton.
Iván Ramos.
Easy. Ivan Ramos. Jin Guan Shi. Whitney G. Willerson. Zeitz, thank you. Leon Bem Zeitz. Sarah Habiba Caldiero. Grace Hunt Hansen. Madeline K. Humphrey. Ella Regina Luzzy. Alexander Mallinson. Claire Karina Stevens.
All right. Would the bachelor's degree candidates please rise?
Ready? Mr. President, the individuals now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of the degree of Bachelor of Arts at the request of the faculty of Naropa University, and on behalf, I present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
Upon successful completion of degree requirements, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Please.
Please be seated. Is Kelly there?
I'm still here. I'm just hanging. The degree of Bachelor of Arts, Art Therapy, Lucinia Gaddy. Zoe Minigrode. Contemplative Psychotherapy, Cam Beck. Mariah Boyle. Jasmine Gatt. Isaac William Jackson Green. Yin Yu Lee. Heather Marie Redfern. Michaela Moon Wilder. Concentration in Psychological Science, Catherine Molly Landau. Concentration in Somatic Psychology and Psychology of Health and Healing, Naomi Sarah Graff. Concentration in Somatic Psychology and Contemplative Neuroscience, Katrina Kinsley. Concentration in Transpersonal and Humanistic Psychology, Manasa Ashok. Creative Writing and Literature, Meg Kistner. Elementary Education, Miranda Autumn Evans. Emily Mazik. Zanin Miller. Environmental Studies, Caitlin Hochwald. Miles Markson. Environmental Studies and Visual Arts, Alexa Kate Getman. Interdisciplinary Studies, Aurora Michaela Adams and Jet. Ian Silver Chapin. Erin Kathleen Crow. Ryan Ellis. Rachel Gula. Sophia Ida McPhee. Caroline Morrison. Atreyu B. Personius. I am Alexander's mom, you're right. Maje Stabile, with yarrow and magnolia. Joelle A. Stilley. Alexandra Suzanne Watkins. We would like to acknowledge the first graduating class of our online Bachelor of Arts Psychology program. Forrest Green Lynn Archuleta. My favorite. Yep, you're so. Patricia Ann Davis. Loren DeQuatro. Rachel Aaron. Natalie Coons and Alec. Concentration in Transpersonal and Humanistic Psychology, Jenna Elaine Priest. Yoga Studies, Bliss Files. Crystal Street.
One more time, Naropa graduates. So, undergrads, I don't know if you know what you're doing next, but I will say I've seen so many people today who got 2 degrees from Naropa. I'm just saying, undergrads, if you're wondering what to do next, we have a cool, very large graduate school. Think about it. And I'm so proud of everyone who graduated today, especially those who I've seen twice. It's amazing. So in closing, I'd like to offer a few words of appreciation and congratulations to all who are receiving their diplomas today. We are here because of your brilliance of mind and heart. On behalf of our faculty and staff, we thank you for trusting us with your education. If I may leave you with a little bit of advice, be sure to thank your loved ones who are here with you today and those who couldn't be here with you for all their love and support through this experience called Naropa. And carry that feeling forward to all the mothers and mothers who are in the room and the mothers who you need to call for Mother's Day. Hi, Mom. She's online. So it's no secret that the journey to this stage as graduates of Naropa represents countless hours of self-reflection and navigating complexity. As you move forth into your next chapter, may you continue to circle with colleagues and answer the call. But how does it make you feel? A wise and anonymous philosopher from the internet once said, "Graduation isn't the end of a tough journey, it is the beginning of a beautiful one." So wise. Author Neil Gaiman said, "The rules are crumbling and nobody knows what the new rules are. So make up your own rules." And most importantly, Confucius said, "Wherever you go, go with all your heart." In a moment, President Leaf will close our ceremony. Please remain seated until the speakers leave the stage and our graduates process out. Then follow the flags out and just go through the lobby and just go outside, get some fresh air. Not yet. And then join us for a reception immediately following at the Nalanda Events Center on the Nalanda campus at 6287 Arapahoe Avenue. That's 6287 Arapahoe Avenue. Y'all are so beautiful. Peace be the journey and love be the mission. Thank you so much.
So I'll close, I'll ring the gong, we'll bow. I'll just invite you for this ringing of the gongs, maybe open your hearts and your minds and your pores and let the vibration of this particular 3 ringings of the gong kind of get inside, because in the future it might be an iPhone alarm, or it might be a bell at Big Ben, or it might be a church cathedral. You'll hear a gong and it, if you're lucky, will wake you up and bring you back to the space that we are right now. And so that's a sonorous gift that we can leave for you today. And thank you all for being here. Thanks certainly to the families for all of your support. We're really grateful. And congratulations to all the graduates.